everybody, welcome to Drawing with Waffles. I have an original piece of art for you today. Digital, of course, because it's my favorite. Again, I am showing the paintbrush while I'm drawing. You can see the little circle on the screen right now. That's my brush, and so if I make a bigger brush, that little circle gets bigger. If I make a smaller brush, then the little circle gets smaller. Last week, I showed it for half of the video, and you guys seemed to like it, so I left it on. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. I feel like it's just too much to see, but again, you can let me know in the comments below whether you like seeing the brush cursor or not, because I'm still on the fence. We'll see if it's there next week. I was actually live streaming the process of this video back on, I think it was Wednesday. So thanks to everyone who showed up. That was really fun. There was a lot of people, and it was... I really tried to like keep up with you guys. Sometimes I got a little distracted because I really wanted to finish the drawing by today. So actually this video is going up a day late because I didn't. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and thanks to everyone who showed up and supported me and, you know, encouraged me and everything. So yeah, that happened. It was a lot of fun. I want to do it again. Now I'm working on the second sketch layer. I actually don't end up going with this face. I'll have more to talk about that later. But here's the second sketch layer. You can tell I'm live streaming this because every once in a while it'll just like pause and like nothing will be happening. And that's because I like stop to like talk or to read comments or such. So that's what's going on there. But yeah. Oh, and when I live stream a drawing, it takes me like twice as long to draw something when I live stream it. Usually I can get a drawing done in about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Like just a regular drawing for me. Whereas when I'm live streaming this, I think just the middle process from doing the second sketch layer, the line art, and coloring the hair took at least 2.5 hours, and that's pushing it for me. I know everyone takes their own amount of time. Like some people take longer, some people don't take as long. That's it for me, and so I really want to practice live streaming so that I can get faster and make it more interesting to watch, because I feel like watching 2 hours and only seeing second sketch layer and line art is, I don't know, it's kind of boring, but we'll see for the future. Oh, I just drew a kitty. Someone in the comments asked me to tell them how to draw a cat, and I basically just drew a little jelly bean with ears and a tail. I mean, keep it simple, you know? Why overthink things? It's not a big deal. Okay. Oh, and originally in the second sketch layer here, she was gonna have, like, what's that? It's just a long piece of grass sticking out of her mouth that she was chewing on. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of funny. I don't end up keeping that in the final drawing. But I feel like it did add something to it that I kind of miss. And here I'm making the hat floppier because I didn't want the hat to be so stiff. I wanted it to be super floppy. Just because it's like a giant hat and it's like too big for her, so just to like hold it up because it's so floppy. And it's probably been like used over and over again, and it's been sat on and like abused and everything. Oh, and here's where I was deciding I didn't really like that face. It seemed too squished, and it wasn't my favorite face. I'm still talking about that. No, the face. So I actually drew a little 1 next to it, and I was like asking people, oh, do you like the first one or the second face? And they all agreed, well, a majority agreed that the first face was better, so I went with the second face. Not because, but because I like the second face. I don't know. I just felt like the second face was just much more proportioned properly, and it had a lot more emotion to it, and whereas the first face, I don't know, it looked like someone sat on it to me. But, I don't know. I did like it originally, I like it better now, this way. Although something didn't translate from the second sketch layer to the line art. Something in the eyes, I don't see the life anymore. I feel like everyone has this problem where something will look so lively in a sketch, and as soon as you start line arting it, it just looks stiff and like a mannequin, and then you just get really disappointed, and sometimes you want to give up, but I didn't. I actually like the way this turned out, except for the face. I don't know what happened with the face, but I like this face better than the old face, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm still just doing the line art. I didn't really know what I was doing when I started drawing this because I had tried like 5 or 6 other things for this week's video and it just wasn't turning out. And I actually meant to live stream something completely different, but I was just running really behind. So I decided to live stream this week's video because I still wanted to live stream because, like I said, I wanted to practice. So yeah, I forgot where I was going with this. My mind is drawing a blank. Joy must have just like rode my train of thought into the great abyss. Yeah. Well, I'm doing the flowers right now. I added these little squiggly things, like when you like pick a flower and like part of the stem like starts to like peeling like string cheese. That's what those are supposed to be. So like they're peeled a little and then they curled at the end. Does that make sense? Is that something that happens, or am I just like coming up with that on my own? I swear it happens. Maybe it does. Well, also some flowers have little vines that come off of it, and they're twirly. So if that isn't true, then we'll go with that. Yeah. Oh, and here I am coloring the hair. Everyone wanted her to be a ginger with freckles, so I decided to take that hint. I did subtle it down subtle. I made it a lot more subtle, like the whole gingerness. The redhead, I made it much more of like a brown. And then I also, going in, I like pictured her being really, really tan. So I still gave her the freckles, but I ended up coloring her much more tan. Oh, and this is where I was ending the stream. So that's as far as I got in, what, the 2.5 to 3 hours? Yeah, that's pretty slow for me. But I did get it done, and that's what matters, you know, just finish, truck through, and get it done. That's what happened. And now I'm just adding some highlights and adjusting the color. And I think I went with this. I think I actually make it a little bit redder later on. But for now, that's what I have. And now I'm just deciding on colors. I didn't really, like I said, I didn't really have a thought process going into this. I just wanted to draw someone with a really big hat. And usually I would like, you know, study colors and like figure out what kind of color scheme I want. But for this, I was just kind of throwing everything together and trying to get something done, which is sometimes what happens when you have a tight schedule. Yeah. Oh, I'm coloring in the lace. And then I decided, well, actually, I didn't decide. This just sort of happened. When I was live streaming, I started shading the hair. And as soon as I started, I instantly regretted it because I was like, oh, crap, now I'm going to have to shade everything else, too, or it's going to look really, really funny. So this piece actually has pretty much full shading, I would say. Yeah, it's completely shaded. Yeah, I guess I would say that. I don't know why I'm saying that. I would say that because I'm saying it, so yeah. We're moving on. We're just shading her overalls right now, and I thought it'd be cute if, like, the one wasn't attached and it was, like, curling forward. I don't know, because I actually draw overalls way more than I should mention, so I decided to draw it a little different and have one of them unbuttoned. And I feel like it also, like, adds to the whole effect that, like, she's kind of, like, a rough person, and she's not worried about looking her best. She's just sort of having fun, you know? Yeah. Oh, I'm still coloring the skin because I decided I was going to have to shade everything. I definitely play with the hue and saturation just because she looked too purple, and then she looked too brown, and now I think she's much better, like a tone. She looks very tan. Tan skin, I don't usually color very often. I like to draw pale people. I don't know why, but that's just something I do. So I thought it would be really fun to color someone really tan. So yeah, it was a bit of a challenge, but I kind of like the way it turned out. Like, she looks a little bit sunburnt and a little bit tan, and then later I add the freckles, and that really helped, I think. I love adding freckles to my drawings. I don't do it often enough, but I do love it. And I actually used my sparkle glitter magic brush that I made myself in using the Photoshop settings. I created a little brush so that I can draw magic everywhere, and I've used it for, I think, my Cinderella Speedpaint and my Aurora Speedpaint, and they both have, oh, and Tinkerbell. I used that brush for all of 3 of those, I think, maybe a few others, but I got to use it for the freckles, and it worked really, really well, surprisingly. I didn't even have to adjust anything, and it worked really well. I think it made a nice, like, scatter of freckles, and it looked pretty good. Here I'm just coloring the flowers, and I didn't really know what I was doing. Again, I suggest you, like, look up real flowers and, like, color them properly, but I was just running so behind, and it was just, I really wanted to get something done, and it didn't turn out too bad considering. I didn't use, like, a single reference. I was calling the little flowers brain flowers because they just look like mushy brains. Oh, and that's another thing, the name of this picture. This picture is called Lily Beth because in the live stream I asked people what I should name her, and there were a lot of good suggestions, and I decided I really wanted her middle name to be Beth because she's kind of a southerner, and, like, sometimes down there they, like, call people by their first and middle names. So I decided on Beth, and then I had to pick another for the the first name. And I finally stuck with Lily because I did put a lily in her hair. So it was like, oh, it's Lily Beth. She likes lilies. I don't know. There's the thought behind that. But thanks everyone for the suggestions. They were really cool. And it was fun looking through them. Oh, and now I'm just adding a simple background. Because going into this, when I finally decided to draw something with like a big hat, I saw it with this like really awesome background. And you could just see like lilies and like flowers going on forever. And they were like, the sky was pretty and maybe there was like a sunset. I don't know, I just saw it, but I don't have like the physical capabilities of drawing that. So this is kind of what I went with the whole, I'm done with this picture, I want to move on. So if you mix those two ideas together, you get this. Oh, and here's the finished illustration. We're moving really slowly, just looking at the details and the scribbles and the hastiness of this drawing. But I mean, there's a beauty in speed. I don't know. There you go. And there's my flowers. Brain flowers! Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Oh, I love those freckles. I'll see you guys all next week, and hopefully I'll put a little bit more time into it. And, yeah, hope you all have a delicious evening full of waffles. Bye!